And ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday night. It is 8 p.m. And that means once again we are here with the PlayStation Showcase on the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and CBRS Entertainment. I am OMD, joined as always by the man behind the console, Mr. Chris Best. How are we doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good. Just a little bit flabbergasted. I forgot to tell you guys the information regarding my shoulder. I did get the couple weeks ago. I got the update. It's not a torn rotator cuff. It's a inflamed bicep tendon. So now I'm on all this medication for the next little while. So if I seem a little loopy, that's why.
Okay.
But instead of being loopy, let's get hoopy.
Because
we're looking at NBA 2K25 tonight, and we're gonna do the My Career mode. What I figured we can do is maybe play 2 games with a break in between the games, so I can showcase the city, as they call it. I almost called it the island because that's what they call it in WWE 2K25.
Right.
But let's move into the first game here, which I've got a game against the Knicks. It's been a little while since I played this game, so I can't quite remember the controls. Hopefully my timing is still there for 3-pointers, because I'm the leader in the league for 3-pointers right now.
Right.
And we're playing at Madison Square Garden, the Mecca of all arenas. Doesn't matter what sport you play, even if it's in video games, I get nervous knowing that I'm going to play an MSG.
Right.
Now, the first thing you do before you start a game is you go into a shoot around to build up your stats prior to the game. It's kind of like warming yourself up, you know?
Yep.
I wish they did pass me the ball. I couldn't see because I like shooting from this side of the net. But you only get a few seconds to do it, so I got 20 seconds to shoot. And it looks like I do still have my timing for 3-pointers. I say that and then I miss. And here we go, starting the game here. Oh, there's going to be a challenge alongside this game. Sometimes the top players from the opposing team will challenge you to do something in the game.
Right.
Same rules, I win. Okay, so all I've got to do is just outperform this guy.
Okay. I was going to say, is he challenging you to an in-game game of horse?
I'd probably still dominate him. Yeah, our team is 27-2 right now. I think the Raptors are going to win the championship in this game.
Right. And I know you and I, outside of the video game world, are not big basketball fans.
No, so I did follow the Raptors on their championship run. Right. Because curiosity got the better. I mean, I had to see just how the Raptors would do. And I did end up picking up a few little tidbits of information about the sport, most of which I've forgotten because that was 9 years ago.
Right. Now, I mean, I haven't really played a basketball game since either basketball or double dribble way back in the day.
Yeah. See, normally I play... So I stopped playing the 2K games for a while, similar to the reason for why you don't play the WWE 2K games. I used to find them really hard, but 2K25, it's a little bit on the easy side for me, and I'm not even playing on easy mode.
Right.
I've got it set to a mode where the players are supposed to adapt to your play style, and to be fair, Haven't really seen it, to be honest with you. Like right there. Could have blocked my 3-pointer, but I got it.
Yep.
Oh, and it tells you which guy you're supposed to be blocking when you're on the defense, and I'll take full blame on that one because I was supposed to block that guy.
Right. Now, and I do
But
have to ask because we've seen in other games like this, like the NHL Be a Player mode and that, where I know 2 different games, they show your shift. So do they like show you when you come off the floor going to the bench and then do you have to sit and wait?
yeah, but you can obviously simulate through that till your next shift back on the court.
Right.
Just like in basketball or in hockey and even in baseball too, actually. Oh, I thought I was going to miss that because it said very late there. I've already got 6 points on the night. Oh, and of course, as usual, R2 is see, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to block me. Now, the one key thing you don't want to do is hog the ball because in these games, building your relationship with your teammates is the utmost importance in order for you to actually advance in the season, as it were. Right. So that's why you see me passing the ball around in situations where I can't throw it. So. Sometimes, though, it does. I do get a little bit bored when the other side of the board, the court. Oh, yeah, that was a bad shot. Can't let my percentages go down any lower than they already have.
Right.
There we go. And the Knicks are calling a timeout because we've been kind of dominating them on the court right now.
Right. Well, and I'm going to say, like, because the one thing I know, and I know about, of course, the 24-second shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing this on both sides, is that really it's a lot of rushing. There's not a lot of time coming off of that shot clock.
Oh, I make use of the shot clock when I feel like I can, Like I will purposely run down that shot clock and then get that last shot off just to chew the clock a little bit, Kind of like in football,
Yeah.
When you're setting up the play, you chew the clock a little bit by maybe going to a knee or something like that, Asking for a pass when I'm surrounded by 3 guys, I shouldn't be doing that. Now, once again, one of the things I really enjoy about this is that ticker at the bottom that gives you updates on what other teams are doing around the league so that you can be aware and be prepared for when you come face to it. Like right there, it's showing that there was a trade between the Hornets for somebody.
Right.
So now I know what to expect. And there, I just got the GOAT achieve moment. I hit 1,000 points in my career in my first season. In my first season. I don't think that's I think that's a bit of a rarity.
That would honestly probably never really happen until we go to, complete AI and robot basketball.
So now I've got another goal to reach, and I've got to get 20 points scored. I'm already at 12. Knicks are calling another timeout in the first quarter. 25 seconds left. They're really trying to figure out our team, but they can't. But like I said, I do have this set so that the player or the AI adapts to what I'm doing on the field, on the court.
Right.
It's just not working. So you can skip through the timeouts. Otherwise, you actually have to wait a minute for the timeouts.
Right.
I choose to skip through them unless I want to, stop and take a drink.
Much like we both just did.
Yeah. Well, because I knew I had time for the Knicks to. Oh, somebody got a foul. I thought it was me for a second, but it was my buddy Boucher. I am no good at free throws, by the way.
Okay.
I'm 0 for. I've lost count, but I have never landed a free throw. I'm
Right.
basically Shaq. Shaq, as everyone knows, he was terrible at free throws.
Yep.
Even Shaq will admit to it.
And you know what? Like, Shaq is probably my favorite NBA player of all time. Like, it was because of Shaq and Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
That's where I started to enjoy basketball, and I became a fan of the Orlando Magic. Now, I didn't jump from team to team with Shaq. Like, I will still cheer Orlando.
Okay, so for me, I was a Bulls fan, and I think it's obvious why. Number 23, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He was my go-to guy. And then through that I discovered Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen.
Right.
And then once they retired, I moved on to being a Detroit Pistons fan because Chauncey Billups was one of my favorite point guards.
Right.
He threw some of the best three-pointers I've ever seen.
I remember being a kid and, like when I was living in Australia,
yeah,
that was when the Pistons were going on their early runs, and they had Bill Laimbeer, Joe Dumars, and all of that. And, I got asked why I was cheering Detroit when they were facing the Lakers for the championship.
Oh, because the Lakers were dominant throughout the 80s. And it was probably to a point where you were tired of them winning championships all the time.
Well, I mean, I really didn't know basketball at the time, but I was like, you know what? It's the closest city to my hometown, but you're not in Canada. Doesn't matter. I mean, yes, the Pistons won those championships.
Yep.
So yes, I was, thrilled because, everybody else had the Lakers and I'm the one guy calling the underdog Pistons.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one thing that I remember about the Pistons the most in the 80s, and I sort of was into the Pistons mostly because the Fox feed we had in the 80s and 90s was the Detroit feed. So we got almost all of the Pistons games and the Detroit Red Wings games.
Yes.
I remember just kind of being a fan of Scottie Pippen when he played there. I became a fan of him through that, not knowing that at the time when I realized that he had actually moved on to playing for the Bulls.
See, and I don't ever remember Pippen playing for the Pistons.
He was there for
thinking of Isaiah Thomas?
No, Pippen. He was there for maybe 2 seasons in the early 90s. I remember him doing because on the Fox Detroit feed, they used to have a show called Pistons Yearbook. And it was just a show where they interviewed the players about upcoming games, took a look at, did player profiles and showed the players, outside the court. And I remember him being on one show and just being enamored with him.
I do have Scottie Pippen up here on the Google machine. He was drafted by Seattle.
Yeah.
87 to 98, he played for the Bulls.
Oh. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else then.
99, he played for Houston. And then from 99 to 2003 as well, he played for Portland and went back to the Bulls for 03-04.
Okay, so maybe the show, the Pistons Yearbook, because I do remember him being on it, maybe it was just a look at the NBA as a whole.
Maybe.
Because like I said, I do remember being like just enamored with him and the way he talked about the Pistons, because he gave credit to the Pistons on the episode that I watched.
Right. But yes, like I loved Isaiah Thomas just for his sheer size and what he could do.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember I always found it funny because, watching somebody like Bill Laimbeer, and he had that sort of straight on push the ball or shot put the ball for a 3-pointer. But
yeah, I remember that.
I always found it funny because, you're watching that and it's basketball is a sport dominated by the African American community. And I remember Bill Laimbeer being really the lone Caucasian on the floor.
Regardless, I think that's what drew me to Larry Bird as well.
Right?
Because Larry Bird, I mean, to me, Larry Bird doesn't get enough recognition for what he's done in the game. I know he led the Celtics to several championships.
Yes.
But I just, when you see like people conversing about the greatest basketball players, sometimes I feel like Larry Bird doesn't get brought up enough in those conversations.
Right.
So now we're at halftime, and you actually get to see some of the halftime events, which I think is really cool. So like, obviously this fan doing a shot for money. I always look to see if he's going to make it. And nope.
Just missed.
I've never seen a fan make the shot yet. And I've had this game for, a month and a half now, maybe?
Right.
And then this is the cool thing. You get the halftime report, and it's hosted by the people who do NBA on TNT, which is Shaq and company.
Yep.
And they actually like give you a full like detailed report on what's going on in the game and what to expect in the next half. I like that. I really do.
Right.
I kind of want to see the NHL do that.
Right. Much like you get in the NFL games from EA, you get that halftime report. Now, and then I tend to skip it, but
yeah, and then they talk about the trades, which, by the way, this Harrison Barnes player, this is the 4th time he's been traded this season. I think at this point, that player is just being used as trade bait.
Yep.
And at first, when I saw that, because I read Barnes, and I'm like, oh crap! Did you really just trade off one of my go-to guys when I can't handle the ball, which is Scotty Barnes, who plays on the Raptors. He's one of my go-to guys when he gets in the paint there. If I can't throw,
right.
And as you can see, we're looking at all my 3-pointers.
Yep. And I do have to admit, again, like we're not, huge basketball fans outside of, these games. But I do pay attention to the NCAA and, of course, March Madness. And, when I look at college basketball, I have to go. And my number one team is, of course, Duke.
I don't have a basketball team, and I've been from the NCAA, and I've been trying to figure out who would I choose. I don't know.
Right. And I mean, you look at, because so many of those teams have created so many NBA players. You've got UNC, you've got Michigan, you've got Michigan State, you've got Duke, you've got our friend Parrish's South Carolina Gamecocks, you've got the University of Connecticut Huskies, Texas, Arkansas.
I would say the Sooners, but from what I heard, their basketball squad's not the best, but their football is where it's at.
Right.
I guess, and I'm just saying this because I think I've watched more games from them. I guess I'd have to go with University of Michigan.
Right. And again, because University of Michigan is so close, and I have seen the campus. I haven't been onto or in any of the buildings on the University of Michigan, but I have seen the campus.
Honestly, if I want to attract a huge crowd, if I'm WWE, I'd want to do a SummerSlam on the campus of University of Michigan, because that stadium, what does it hold? Like 100,000 people or something like that.
Yeah, you actually look to the Big House in Ann Arbor. It's a beautiful stadium. I have been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
Do a completely outdoor SummerSlam, because I know the stadium is completely outdoors.
Yep.
I know the stadium is an older stadium, but I know that at the same time they've been putting money to keep the upkeep on the stadium.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, the Big House. It is a beautiful, beautiful stadium. I was there for Toronto and Detroit in the Winter Classic.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, that interception was a thing of beauty there on the Knicks' part. What I like about this too is I know you guys can't hear the broadcast. You viewers out there cannot hear the broadcast, but it actually feels like an NBA broadcast when you hear the announcers talking. It's they use what's that? There's an older guy that they always use for the NBA on TNT.
Dick Vitale?
And it's James something. I think he's on TNT. He might not be. I've already got 35 points and no assists. I should really get some assists going.
Probably a good idea.
Hand it off to Ingram. There you go. There's an assist.
There we go. And a primary.
Yep. Well, Ingram is another one of my go-to guys. If I'm on the court with him, I'm handing the ball to him if I know he can get it in.
Right.
But it's all about, this game is all about situational awareness. So.
Right. I am going to ask because, we do know that RJ Barrett came from the Knicks to the Raptors in real NBA. Is RJ Barrett on the Raptors now, or is he with the Knicks still in this game?
I can't recall. I'm trying to remember because I've seen because after the game you go into the Raptors locker room.
Right.
But what we'll do is we'll take a look, and when I get benched next, we'll take a look and see.
Sure.
Because you can watch the game and it'll show you who's on the court and who's not,
Right. And RJ Barrett, another one of those players who, yes, he is Canadian, but did come out of the University of Duke.
Yep.
Basketball program.
You know what I was thinking about doing with this game too? I was thinking about doing a GM mode,
Right.
and maybe bringing back Kawhi Leonard to the team. That would be a hard move, but I know I
It
can do
would.
it. Because to be fair, the reason why they got Kawhi Leonard is so that they can push for the championship.
Yep.
And he did carry them to the championship. I will flat out admit that because he was dominant in the playoffs.
He was.
But I would try and get him. And there's another 3-pointer that I really, really enjoy by the name of Klay Thompson that I would get.
Yep.
It'd be just like in the NFL. Whenever I would do a GM on a team, if I wasn't doing the Packers, I was picking Clay Matthews. Because that dude, for me, anytime I played as the Packers, he was a sacking machine.
Right.
Yeah. End of the third quarter, score 61-31. think we're taking the win on this one.
Looks like it.
I'm not even sure if I've reached the goals for beating that player though. If I did, I did. If I didn't, I didn't. Like to me, doing the goals don't really mean a lot to me. It's the stuff that I like doing in between the games,
right?
That helped me out because there's a bunch of like little quests that you can do if you don't want to play basketball. See, right now I'm on the bench, so we're gonna sim, and it's gonna show the players that are out there. So Towns, trying to look under, just keep watching. Yeah, RJ Barrett's on our team. I just don't share a line with him because he's not a start. He's not a starter. So
right.
Well, at least so they simulated the entire fourth quarter. They gave me a break.
Yes, they did.
But we took the win, 96-74, which seems to be the average score in a basketball game that I usually see.
It is pretty consistent, yeah.
Yeah. There's one thing I'm going to point out in the next game that I forgot to point out in this one that I think is really cool at the same time. That depends on if the next game is an away game, though.
Right. And I do want to ask, because I want to give some credit to another league. Do they have the WNBA as part of this?
Yes, you do, and you can do a My Career with a WNBA player, and it's actually something I'm thinking about checking out. Now, to be fair, I don't really know the teams, but I'll give it a shot and see what happens. I have watched a couple of WNBA games, and I do find that the females there are extremely athletic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I did get everything. I ended up getting his jersey. But now that we're in between games, I'm going to show you the city, which is this way. Now, the one thing I had to get over in this game is the amount of corporate shilling that's in this game.
Right.
So, yeah, the reason why, okay, so this is all showing up because a new season just started just a couple of days ago in this game. Oh yeah, I can get a vehicle. I have a go-kart.
Nice.
So there's a State Farm store where you can buy State Farm clothes, and you actually interact with Jake from State Farm.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually Jake from State Farm, like the actual actor in the commercials. Then there's Wheels where you can buy bikes for egregiously expensive prices. Dex, you can buy skateboards there. Starting 5, this is where you go in. You can play with other players to hone your skills a little bit for your character development. I didn't want to go down this way. This is, I think this is the theater. I can't exactly remember what's down there or what's in there. The vehicle does get fast. Then there's specs. This is obviously where you go and buy sunglasses or glasses for yourself.
Yep.
Pro-Am is tournaments, like basketball tournaments that you can take part in.
Okay.
You can choose 5-on-5 or 3-on-3. This is where I get murdered because it's all online play and everybody's way too experienced for me to play. Legend Sports. This is I'm going to go in here right quick because I did not mean to do that. I think this is where you can buy classic jerseys and such, I believe. Oh no, sorry. You can buy jerseys from international teams in here.
Okay.
You're just going to continue walking because that'd be Finders Keepers. This is where you go if you want to buy like classic jerseys, and I think more. Yeah, so you can buy like the classic Orlando Shaquille O'Neal jersey.
Yep.
The 96-97 Michael Jordan Bulls jersey, the one he returned to the league in.
Yep.
But as you can see, 35,000, 25,000, it's expensive to shop here. It takes a minute to get that coin in this game. Puma, obviously a shoe and t-shirt store because over here there's a lot of things to do in this game and in this game besides playing basketball. My court, this is your own personal court where you can just go in and shoot hoops if you want to. You can do the Heart of a Dynasty, which I already completed, but I can go back and redo it all if I wanted to. I'm not really going to. That's basically his career story that shows your player how you got to the NBA.
Right.
Now, if you don't want to go back to the arena, though, you can go here and start the next game, which looks like I've got a game up against the Grizzlies next. Over here, you can learn about the controls, which, as you can see, I don't really need to. I literally went into the game just blind and just tried,
Yep.
So New Balance shoe store.
Under Armour.
Yeah, all the Under Armour gear. See what I mean by the corporate shilling, though?
Oh, yeah. Now, I do want to ask, because I do realize that this last game that you played was in New York City at Madison Square Garden. So does it take you out into New York City, or when you're playing a home game, does it take you out into Toronto?
It just takes you into the city. But when you go back to the main arena, it just automatically fast travels you to Madison Square Garden or Scotiabank Center.
Okay.
Or whichever. And then this is personally my favorite shop because I've got a bunch of Jordans right now, which I don't understand because I thought Jordan was a brand of Nike. And there is a Nike store right next to it.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of training down this way, so we won't bother that way. A bunch of training and exercise. This is the theater. So this is where you go into basically like Call of Duty, right? You go into a playlist of different games you can play with all the other players. And then there's Converse. This store is a little bit on the weird side. So it's a bunch of different costumes you can buy for your player. So if you want to be a wizard running around the city, you can be a wizard running around the city.
Nice.
A little bit on the strange side for me, but it is what it is. And then there's the tattoo shop, which I haven't really bothered with. Ante Up is where you place bets on the games that you play.
Okay.
Rags here. Oh, Rags is just a do-rag store. And then Drip Brothers, this is a suit store. So if Cody Rhodes and playing that game, you'll find him there. Embellish is yeah. Well, actually, you won't find the weird suits that Seth Rollins wears in that store. Embellish is basically a jewelry store. New Era is hat store, obviously.
Yep.
Then there's this facility. This is the practice facility, and there's several quests that you usually get for this one, where you go in, you'll meet up with a trainer, and he'll give you some drills to do to upgrade your stats. So
right.
When he gives you those missions, it's a good idea to go and visit that place.
Right.
And I did get a mission prior to us going live, but I'm not too worried about it. Oh, there's a couple of new stores that opened up. Another NBA store here. Then there's a restaurant, which I don't understand. So you can't really use it. But there is a go-kart track. I kind of like doing this one. There is prizes to be won when you go to this go-kart track. I'm not good enough. I just like going in and driving my go-kart around the track just for the hell of it.
Right.
But you can see how did I look at it? So there's of course a waypoint, and yes, there is fast travel.
Wow.
There's a lot to do in this game. So instead of just playing basketball, this is, I've got to hand it to 2K for the amount of stuff that they've done. And I'm very curious now to see if all this kind of stuff is in WWE 2K25. I'm very curious about that now. Oh, that's one thing I never noticed is the ticker on the arena. It actually gives you the scores.
Nice.
And the times. What I wonder though is because again, I got this game in the during the playoffs. I'm wondering if they give you like live updates to the actual games that are going on in the league.
Right.
But what do you say we hop into another game?
I say we do it.
So yeah, automatically we're at Memphis, and you can see like the paparazzi's after me because I'm a star player. Practice facility, locker room. I don't think I necessarily need to go to the locker room. I think I can just head straight for the court to play the next game. I prefer going into the arena because the arena is just as explorable as the city, in my personal opinion. The one thing I wish that you could do, though, is if you're at the arena, I wish you could interact with your other teammates and maybe like give them challenges or something like that, you know?
Right.
Oh, put me in the shoot around without even walking out to the arena. That's interesting. Oh, that's because it's the end. I had to stop and take a drink. So another challenge coming from one of Memphis's top players. Or no, they're just doing the intro. Never mind. Which again has that NBA broadcast feel.
Right.
I think they're doing this because this might be a rivalry game, considering, as we all know, Memphis Grizzlies used to be the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Yes.
Man, did they ever flop in Vancouver? I kind of feel bad for the city of Vancouver for losing the team like that, because they lost them pretty friggin' fast.
They did. They had them 5 seasons?
Something like that.
But Vancouver didn't get the fan support, and they couldn't put a productive team on the court.
And just as you're looking at their stats now, that was the stats that they had then. And yes, we are playing at the FedEx Forum, aka the Pyramid.
Yep.
It's an arena. For those who don't know, it's an arena that its exterior is shaped like a pyramid, and it's a sight to behold.
It is.
But 6-24, I got to assume that this is going to be a super easy game for me with my 28-2 now.
Right?
Oh, Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, I think, is the player that I think that's appearing in 2K25 WWE as well. I'm almost certain that was the name that I saw them announce as far as the DLC pack goes. You guys out there in the chat, if you're watching this, leave a comment and correct me, because you probably will. All right, quickly pass it to me. Quickly pass it back to you, because you were open. Why didn't you shoot? That was a bad shot by me.
Yes.
All right, Ingram, let's see what you can do with the ball. Okay, you can't do anything. Hand it off to me. Let's see if I can get it up in there. Fudge. Maybe I should just stick to passing the ball in this game for a little bit.
Yep. Now, are you like, do you ever like try and, I guess I'll say rush the net to, get a layup or a dunk, or do you just try to stick to the 3-pointers?
What do you think? I just did it. I saw the opening and I had to take it. Yep. They left that lane wide open for me. But no, most of the time I'm a 3-point guy, because they are quick to defend and close off that laneway. But because they didn't, I had to get in there.
And it looks like you got fouled as well.
Yep, so you're about to see how terrible I am at the free throw. Watch I get the third point, because right. Obviously I scored on that, so it's only one shot. See? I suck at free throws. It's what it is it's my timing. I can't figure out my timing on it. Because obviously in this game, shooting from when you prepare to shoot to when you release the ball, there's a bit of a time there's a bit of timing you got to figure out with it. And you can see that in the little meter that pops up when I get ready to shoot.
Yep.
And even then, I still don't have my timing right, because that's very seldom that I get that excellent timing, But when I get that excellent timing, I know that the ball's about to go in. Are you kidding me? How dare. I used to hate this game, actually, when I first got it.
Right.
Like, I was just out of bounds, Raptors ball. So, depending on the position, I am going to do this. Score right off the passing.
Yep.
Eight to 2. Oh, Jesus. They also have the on-court reporters as well that will report like when an injury happens or anything like that. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I haven't been injured yet.
Right. So a lot, like you'd see that in the NFL games. You don't see it so much with the NHL games. Like you don't have that ringside reporter, or you're not really given that feel.
Yeah, they used to with Ray Ferraro, but you never really cut to a shot of Ray Ferraro talking about the game at hand like you would if you were actually watching the NHL. Which is something I think the NHL needs to step up on, is doing those on ice reports and doing those interviews in between periods. I would like to see that do that with your My Career players. You do the interview and it could build either your player or your team all together, Oh, I went out of bounds. I got a little too aggressive on running the ball down. But that's that's the one thing I want to see is if you're doing an on-court interview, on-field interview, on-ice interview, whatever, I would like to see that so that when you do respond, it affects how you are as a player, how it affects your teammates as well, and affects your relationship with the coach.
Yeah.
Oh, quickly making his way down the court. You might want to hand it to me. You're not going to get the shot. See what I mean by I like to chew the clock down a little bit?
Yeah.
Because by passing it around, it deters and distracts the other players and makes them think, oh shit, oh shoot, where's the ball going? Where's it coming from? You know? So I'll pass it around like the arc here and provide as much defense or offense as I can when I'm in that zone. So right now, okay. Yeah, okay, that's not a bad pass. I was gonna say I'm gonna pass it to I think it's Portal there. He's on fire, so I might want to keep feeding him the ball.
Right.
Grizzlies calling a timeout with 1 minute, 3 seconds remaining. And what I like about the commentary in this game is it's conversational. It's not like best with the ball, best shoots, best scores. And it's like,
right.
I love the sports games of the late 2000s, late 90s, where they did have that kind of commentary. But I like when you can tell that the commentators are having a conversation about the game. And that's the one thing I really enjoy.
Yes, it's the conversational analysis.
Yeah.
Like we provide every week with the Raw Patrol, with the SmackDown Security Detail, and Brace for Impact.
Yep. And even PlayStation Showcase, because it is a conversational analysis on the games that we're looking at.
Yes, it is.
So the one thing I wanted to point out, as I do notice that we are an away team again, this arena started off full, but if you look at those seats behind the bleach behind the net,
yep,
they're starting to get empty, and you'll see probably just how empty it's going to get towards the end of this game. It's those little things, man, that I like in these sports games nowadays.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I was trying to hand it off to. Yeah. (16-7) end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
Let's just fast forward right to the next quarter.
Let's do it.
Was looking for an open lane, couldn't find one, so hand it off. Man, I am not doing good on my
You're not.
3-pointers tonight.
Almost rushing.
Yeah,
them.
I got to
sort of just again from my visual, it almost looks like you're swinging your arms out and then trying to shoot on an angle as opposed to trying to shoot straight on.
Like that.
Yeah.
I need to plant my feet a little more. That's the thing. But yeah, even though like I don't know much about the NBA, I do know my fair share of basketball and how to play it because, well, I used to play on my school's basketball team,
Right.
my elementary school's basketball team. So I picked up a lot of information about the game there.
Right. See, I didn't, but I was never a big fan. I did play, intramural. So,
Yeah.
In the school, whatever, with the selected teams. I did the same thing with flag football. I did curl
I did.
competitive.
I did it all. I played well, our school didn't have a hockey team. So I played intramural hockey though. I played
Yep.
because our principal was just heavy into hockey and wanted to get every kid into hockey, girl or boy.
Right.
And I totally appreciate and love him for that. Rest in peace, Mr. Ron. He was just a sports guy in general.
Right.
But you walk into his office, like you can see how heavy into hockey was. You walk into his office, and it was like the Montreal Canadiens threw up all over his office because he was a massive Habs fan. Everything he had was Montreal Canadiens. It was awesome. One of my favorite things about him, though, was like he would come up to us and be like, "Chris, did you watch that game last night? What'd you think of the Greyhounds winning and all that too?" And I'd be like, "Mr. Ron, I saw you at the game last night. I told you how I felt about the game because my grandpa used to hang out with him too."
Right.
Well, being that they worked in the school board, so
Right.
but no, I give all credit to him and my grandpa for getting me into sports at a young age.
Yep.
I should have passed it to you, Barrett. I wanted to see what you could do. I guess I am sharing a court with Barrett now.
You are.
Okay, he's good at passing. I'll give him that. Okay, he knows how to get down and dirty. I like that too. But we don't have a lot of time to shoot. And I messed up. Oh, well.
No. See, and RJ was like, he was the primary setup guy at Duke, but still put up 30 points a game. But he also had a guy like Zion to distribute the ball to.
Beautiful. Okay, maybe Barrett's going to be one of the guys I go to whenever we share court. Maybe he becomes one of my guys as well.
Right?
But yeah, as I've been saying, even off stream, like when I talk about this game, this is the first basketball game I've ever actually truly enjoyed since fuck it, I can't even remember what year it was, but it was called the Bulls versus Pacers in the NBA playoffs, and it was one of EA's early NBA games. And I got it on Sega Genesis. I got it on Sega Genesis back in like 93, 94.
Wow.
Oh, NBA Jam was another game I really enjoyed playing too. So
Yeah, I don't think I ever played any of those. There was one that I did play back on the original PlayStation as well.
Yeah. I had a PC NBA game that was just a demo, and all it was well, I remember the Lakers were involved, but I can't remember who the other team was. And that's where I learned about Dikembe Mutombo.
Right?
And I used to laugh because like I thought he had the funniest name, and I still think he kind of does, even though he was actually a pretty fantastic player.
Oh, he was. But, like even for me, and I'm going to go back to Kembe Mutombo, I always found when I first really got introduced to basketball, Hakeem Olajuwon for me was, that funny name just because I wasn't used to the other cultures.
Yeah. But I also remember the first NBA player death I saw on the news, and that was for Wilt Chamberlain. And I got so curious as to like why he such a big name within the NBA. So I went on what was Yahoo at the time, not the Google machine, because this was like 97, 98 that he died, I think. And I went in there and I kind of immersed myself in learning about him as a player. And nowadays when I want to watch, because I do like watching some really cool sports, I do that so that I can see how much the game has changed over the years. And I found myself just maybe 3 weeks ago finding old Wilt Chamberlain games just to see how much the game of basketball has changed from the time that he played to today.
Right.
I do that a lot with hockey and football as well.
The one thing that I always found intriguing, and I know Bill Laimbeer played with the sports glasses, but it was guys like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Robert Ory who had the sports goggles on that always intrigued me too, because I was like, why?
I've always wondered because... Sorry.
Because I was like, it's not like they're... you're not seeing the physicality back then, that you see now. And it wasn't the same physicality as football, hockey, or wrestling. So why are they wearing these?
Oh, it was so that the players could actually see. I love doing those plays, the handoff plays where the player gets in between me and the guy that's defending me, hands me the ball, and before you know it, the ball's in the net before he realizes it. 275 3-pointers made in a single season by me. That's a team record right now.
Wow.
Or that was back in December in this game, so I probably have over 300 now. I'm not even sure what month I'm in for the as far as the season goes. I'm pretty sure we're getting set for playoffs, though. Watch, though. Watch. We make the playoff, or I get traded at the trade deadline.
Right.
That would suck. All the work for the Raptors to get traded. That's another thing I think I'd like to see, though, is for you to get traded unexpectedly. I would love to see that in sports games. But I wish at the same time, if you are going to add that, I wish that that's an option. That should be an option that you can turn on or turn off.
Right.
Because I've always subscribed to the fact that when you're doing the My Career mode, it should be just like an actual NBA career.
Yeah.
So if you get traded, okay, so now you go to that team and you try to make them the champions.
Yep.
But in most sports games, for those who don't play sports games, most of the time it's you have to ask for a trade.
Yeah.
And I do that. I do ask for trades every once in a while. I do that especially in MLB if I'm tired of playing for the team I'm playing for. I will ask for a trade and see if I can move. Which is how in MLB The Show 20, I think it was, or 21, I ended up playing for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays 3 times.
Oh, jeez.
Every time I asked for a trade. And you know me, I hate Tropicana Field. It's my least favorite stadium ever.
Yep.
But those 3 times, I did bring the Devil Rays the title.
Right.
And then asked for a trade in the offseason. See, during that time, I started off with the Mets. Then I asked for a trade and got traded to the Devil Rays after playing 5 seasons with the Mets.
Right.
And then I played 3 seasons with the Devil Rays because I'm like, okay, well, let's see what I can do with this team. Asked for another trade, got traded to the Cubs, played for them for 10 seasons because I absolutely enjoyed playing with the Cubs.
Right.
But then I was like, okay, well, it's time for another change. Back to the Devil Rays I went.
Yeah.
I wanted to, at that time, like, because I was one of the top players in the MLB, I wanted to see if I can go and play for like a nothing team like the Cincinnati Reds and bring them a championship, you know?
Right.
And when I'm not knocking the Cincinnati Reds, I think sometimes that they are a pretty dominant team, but
Yep.
yeah. I wanted to see if I can play for one of those lesser known teams, those teams that you don't even think about going to the playoffs, you know?
Right.
Which is why in MLB The Show 24, I was actually happy to get drafted to the White Sox, and
Right.
that was during their abysmal season where they were like last place the entire season basically,
Yep.
and
Just like they are
MLB
this
The Show
season.
20, yeah, just like yeah, and MLB The Show 24, and I'm pretty sure 25 does it too. But they actually reflect on what's actually going on with their teams with the season that they're in. So when I actually got called up to play for the White Sox, we were last, and then we were last at the All Star break of all things, and I brought them to the friggin' World Series.
Right.
That's in any sport that's nearly impossible to do.
Yep. Well, and I like because I'm not really familiar with the 2K25 basketball game, I can't make a comparison. I know in basketball, players have, the opt out clause from their contract to go to free agency, but they
Uh-huh.
can re sign
Yeah, and
with
that's
said
something I
team.
haven't looked. Yeah, I haven't looked into that as far as my player contract goes. Actually, if I wanted to really look at my player contract, I wish it would tell me how much I'm making per game that I play as far as
Right.
my 2K coins go, because this is a one way you gain coins for buying stuff within the city is by playing games. So I'm wondering if there's a certain contract that I have, and that maybe when that contract runs out, I wonder if I can like renegotiate it to get a higher deal or what.
Right.
Okay, so now I'm sitting out for the third quarter. Probably going to sit out the remainder of the fourth. This is a low scoring game for us. Oh, nope, I'm coming back in. Oh, very late on that shot. That was bad. Hey, Pippin Jr. Oh, no, that says Rippin. Or does that say Pippin? No, that's Pippin. That's Scotty's son.
Yeah.
Well, if it says Pippin Jr., it's got to be Scotty Pippin's boy.
Right.
And I know he plays, so. Wait, where am I? Oh, I couldn't see my little error. Oh, 3 second violation. It's too many people were in the paint for too long, and that's my fault because I was trying to cross through the paint to get to my guy. For those who don't know, the paint is the
The
zone
blue
just in front of
area.
the net. Yep. There we go. Got me a 3-pointer. You can taunt your players after scoring, like I am right now. Probably shouldn't be because the play is going on, but whatever. They are chewing down the clock too. Come on. I was way wide open. Doesn't, oh, you know what? That's not who I wanted to pass it to. So the passing target is kind of a problem with me in this game. But at least I scored on that play. You can see the arena has emptied just a little bit more.
Yep. So I've got to ask, because I've seen it a number of times there when you're doing your threes. What is that green smoke, I guess, that comes up from the basket?
That shows that I perfectly aimed the shot.
Ah, okay.
So you'll see it the next time I get a excellent aim on my shot. I'm not sure though if that improves my stats as a player, or I mean, yeah, my stats. But also another thing too is when I'll show you here in just a second. As you can see, when I get into the defensive zone, you can see the row of green around me.
Yeah.
And it shows where I'm open to, who I'm closed off to, and what my best options are for passing. Of course, I didn't really see an option for me to pass, as I saw the other players were blocked.
Right.
So I went ahead and took the shot. Yeah, 46 points on the night. Jeez, I'm not even focusing on the game. Can you imagine what it'd be like if I was focusing?
Right.
Why did I stop? I had it wide open. Oh, well, at least I got a fourth assist on that one.
Right.
What I'm trying to do with this player is I'm trying to make him like an all-around player. Like, I really need to I need to find out about drills where I can improve my defensive play.
Right.
But I haven't been given that opportunity, so I need to maybe go on the Google machine and find out how to do it, as right now we got a free throw going on. And you can see the arena is empty, essentially. Basically, what it looks like when the Greyhounds are getting dominated.
Right.
But I'm one of those types. If I was at this game, if I was in Memphis and I was at this game, I'm sorry. I know the Grizzlies are losing, but I'm sticking around for the entire game. Why? Because I paid the ticket. I expect to get a full 3-4 hours or however long the game goes on for.
Yep.
My grandpa could never understand that, because sometimes he'd be like, okay, I'm leaving. The Greyhounds are losing. No, we got 2 minutes left to play. I'm sticking for the whole game. I'll see you in the parking lot.
Yep.
As we have reached the final score 75-50. Another bit of a low scoring game for me, but again, it's been a couple of weeks since I played, so I was slightly rusty, although you wouldn't have been able to see that. But we did go over the 1 hour mark for this episode, so why don't we take a moment and show what we've got for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation ShowCase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And now that you know where to find us, hop on over to turnbucklestudios.org. There is an opportunity for you to meet the team, check out our latest episodes of all of our programs, as well as contact us if you want your break in podcasting, content creation, potential collaboration, or just help out behind the scenes, there is something for everybody at turnbucklestudios.org.
Yeah, and while you're online, guys, you got to do is head on over to some carlcarafel.redbubble.com. Maybe you want some affiliation program stuff too, with, or maybe you just want to rep your favorite show with all the clothing merch we have. That's carlcarafel.redbubble.com. Now, OMD, I know gaming makes you a thirsty gamer, makes you very thirsty, as it does me. So while you're online, head on over to swiftenergy.gg. Use that promo code CBRS. Gets you 25% of everything within the store. I'm lagging just a time.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for me on the socials and you want to get in touch with me personally, Linktree, linktr.ee /OMDshow.
Yeah, and if you want to find me at my Linktree, linktr.ee /Chris_.
All right. It appears as though Mr. Best has frozen up or the lag issues are really hitting him. So his Linktree is linktr.ee /Chris_best83. And you can reach out to him there. With that being said, from all of us here at Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and CBRS Entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, the world is a scary place. Take care of each other. From all of us here to those of you out there, wherever you are, good night, good luck. We out.